Hello, Lex here. Today we are implementing our event system, and let's start with event catcher class. Let's create folder and call it events. Here f event catcher. We will be using our own event system to handle events, so that's why we need to catch console events, and we need our event catcher to redirect console events to our event system. Let's create a CPP file too. Event catcher. Event catcher first. We don't need constructor and destructor here. But the only one constructor and destructor in, and we are going to delete those. Our event catcher is kind of a namespace, not the class like we expect functions to be. And functions, let's static void initialize static void catch events and static void shut down. And a bunch of private functions here. Here we are going to use Windows functions for that. std call, and here key event pros proc, maybe, I don't know. And here key event record. Let's call it key data. The name of the argument can be anything. Mouse event proc mouse event record mouse data. Let's go with mouse data. And here resize event proc. And here window buffer size. Well, event, what is that? Contains window. Okay. Record. We need the record here. and let's call it window buffer data. So that's it. And we also need some variables, some static variables actually. Static handle. We need the handle to off the standard input. Standard. Let's call it std input, or we can call it standard input. But let's just keep it std. Static double word. We need also console mode to store the console mode. Static double word console mode old to be able to return revert console mode changes. And here's static input record event data. Let's call it event data. And here we probably don't need that much because we are not going to store that much events. Let's keep it as is right now. Static. You can change this later if you want. Double word. Read. Let's implement. And let's call this let's call it event process functions. Let's call it event process functions. PAM. Here in the initialize function, first we want to get standard input handle. Let's std input. We will get this using the get std handle function with the parameter std input handle. All right, should work. Next, let's get our current input console mode. Get console mode. And let's store it. Let's specify our std input here. And let's store it into console mode old. Console. Next, we want to disable quick edit function, quick edit mode, I mean, to be able to catch events, to receive events from the console, from the mouse input. Otherwise, mouse will not going to work. So let's set console mode std input, and console mode will be enable extended flags, and also enable window input, and also enable mouse input. And that's it. In our shutdown function, we are going to set console mode to the old console mode, old. So catch events. How do we catch events? That's really simple. We need to read console input w, console input wide, and std input, our handle, input handle, event data. And here, let's read. Here we need to specify our buffer length. So buffer length 128 and double word. We probably should use it like that, but compiler can optimize this probably. And num records read, I don't know how to pronounce. Yes. We can read not only one input, but we can do this in a loop, but it's not necessarily needed. Let's dispatch. Here we reading, and let's then dispatch. In for loop, for, in case we have more than one event here, we will use for loop double word I equals 0 u. Compiler also complains about that, so let's optimize this. Let's specify the unsigned integer here. Num record read I++. And here we basically want switch here, and here event data at position I, event type. Wow, event, what this is? Oh, this is our actual event in data in the stored in the union. Switch event data. We will sort our events by event type. Case, oh, key event. In case we have the key event, let's break. We will use key event proc. And here, event data at position I, event key event. Yes. In case of the mouse event break. In case we have the mouse event, let's process it in the mouse event proc event data at position I event, and here mouse event. And also, in case we have window buffer resize event, window buffer size event, size change, whatever they call it, size event, doesn't really matter why. Resize, let's resize event proc, let's call it resize event proc here, and here event data at I event, and here window buffer size event. We also have more here. We can also catch menu event, focus event, in case we want to disable our music, for example, on, or any updates when the window is not in focus. But we will leave it for now. So in the event processes, don't know how to pronounce this. In key event proc, what we are going to do, let's say if key data, and here bool key down, if key pressed, here key pressed event. Let's push key pressed event here. We don't have any event system just yet. And if key data is, and if key down equals false, if key down equals true, but if it equals false, let's say we have key released event. In mouse event proc. This is a big one, so let's switch. Let's put a switch here. And here mouse data, double word, event flags. And in case we have 0, which means left mouse button, or that means mouse pressed, and what button? The event data contains actual information about the button. Break. Yeah, looks stupid, but Microsoft don't have any defined for key press just 0. And here, let's say mouse rest event. We don't have anything for mouse button release. We can create something for that, but in this tutorial we really don't care. You can specify this if you want, if you have any ideas about this, how can you use it. In case mouse wheel mouse wheeled let's say mouse, let's call it mouse scrolled event. And in case mouse moved break mouse moved event and that's it. Here in resize we will basically check the buffer size. We will push window resized event here. And here we need to specify our static variables. We probably should specify it somewhere here. Maybe let's leave it here as static variables. And that's it for today. Next time we will implement our event system to actually push events here, create events, and the event class also. Let's push our changes. Yeah, here we go. See you next time. Bye.